I would say with Zika specifically, there are probably three main challenges, taking the acute infection aside. The first one would be cost, right? Some of the projections are saying that obviously there are birth defects associated with Zika. The projections are saying it could cost roughly $4 million per child that contracts microcephaly because of Zika, because of the behavioral problems that they might have and the developmental problems they might have as well growing up. The second one, of course, is demographics, right? We could be facing a generation where, depending on the scope of the outbreak, there's a significant number of people who are infected and grow up with these behavioral challenges. The third one would be just insofar as more broadly how the U.S. government addresses critical challenges like Zika. I mean, I think many people are watching sort of paralyzed by disbelief as to how the congressional appropriation has not panned out, despite the really, really pronounced impact that Zika is having, particularly in the Southeast. I mean, we have more than 20,000 Americans affected at this point, infected with Zika, and still there's scrambling over the disbursement of funds. I would say, though, that the U.S. historically definitely has had a leading role in sort of pushing these efforts in terms of marshaling support behind global health. And I mean, even at this stage, last year, the U.S. contributed about a third of the global health financing budget to the world, about $13 billion. So that's a significant role, both from a financial perspective, as well as championing the fact that we have to address these threats, right? You have to build robust health systems that can not only just react to problems when they occur, but anticipate and prevent them from happening in the first place. I think over the last 8 years or so, the U.S. has still kind of carried the mantle in terms of addressing global health emergencies. Both, as I mentioned, the funding has really been quite consistent from most of the U.S. programs, including the PEPFAR program, which is designed to address HIV and AIDS in Africa primarily, as well as sort of ringing the bell and saying these are critical issues, everybody has to heed them. So I think the U.S. government has done its role. What worries me a little bit more is going forward. I think the tone of this election has really taken one where we're very focused on domestic issues now, right? People are worried about their jobs, people are worried about the economic rebound and the prospects for homegrown terrorism, these sorts of things. So certainly that's not just a U.S. specific issue right now. I mean, obviously with the recent decision to leave the EU by the UK, these sorts of country first and others later attitude has metastasized to some degree. And I would say in the vein of global health emergencies where one country's health care problem, especially if it's transmissible, quickly becomes another country's problem, countries that are inward looking do a disservice to global health.